This is a walk around of my ADV Lite touring bike. This is the 2025 KLX300, and we'll go over some of the modifications I made for adventure touring. Start at the bottom here. Replace the stock small foot pegs with larger anodized black aluminum pegs. Took off the small plate that comes with the bike and added a larger anodized aluminum skid plate. You can see on the seat that I added a wraparound seat pad. Going backwards, added a rear rack. This is a plate rack as opposed to a larger, heavier tubular welded steel plate or steel rack. And then I also added a plate on the top. This is plastic, mainly to cover up these two exposed bolt heads. The holes that are here are for Rotopax mounts, because this still has the stock tank, which is sufficient for day rides but not for extended rides. So my Rotopax fits on here, and that's another 1 3/4 gallons. This rack also has a mounting tab here, and down here for wider loop pannier supports, which I may not use because I have a rackless system, but I wanted to get those all together so that I was ready if I needed it. And this is just a ram mount for my instant camera. On the back, it's not lit up, but I did replace the bulb, the standard 1157 incandescent bulb, with an LED. So since that's on all the time, that frees up some amperage for my accessories. Going around the other side here, at the bottom I added a little plate extender for the kickstand so it doesn't sink into the dirt. Another look at the seat pad. The biggest modification that I made was up at the handlebars. The stock steel handlebars have welded ends, so you can't add handguards. You can't even cut that little welded end off because it will interfere with the heated grips and the placement of the controls. So these are the Tusk mid-height aluminum handlebars. The anodized aluminum handlebars are less than half the weight of the stock steel bars and just as strong, if not stronger. I did not add any risers, any spacers to the mounts with these handlebars, but I did add the mounts here for this bar, which is the windshield. Again, not much of a wind deflector, but enough to get the wind up over my face shield. And then on the mounting for the windshield, I also added another ram mount for my camera. There are two ram mounts on the handlebars. This is where I mount my smartphone and for tracks, and that plugs into this USB outlet. There are no outlets on this bike. On the other side, I have another ram mount, and that's for my Garmin Zumo, which I can download tracks or actually install a SD card with routes. And then below that is the mount for the heated grips. These are the heaters, Oxford grips, and these are the intelligent grips, and they sense vibrations. So if you don't turn them off, it turns off by itself if the engine isn't running. So you have heated grips on both sides. I also have a little cramp buster on this side, and then the full wrap around hand guards. took off the stock round mirrors and added these. These are the double take imitation mirrors, which I've had on numerous bikes now, and they work great. You can fold them out of the way. If you do crash, they bend and don't break. And on the trail, if I don't really want them in the way, I can fold them in, or I can just take them off completely. And then I also have one additional mounting spot for a camera if I care to. And then finally I took off the stock big standard straight levers and put on shorty adjustable levers on both sides, so that you have a little more options depending on your gloves and the length of your fingers and so on. So that's a little bit of a look from the front. Black mirrors, black grips, black handlebars, black pad, tusk pad, black mounts for the windshield, black seat that covers up some of the neon green on the seat, black foot pegs, black anodized skid plate. So why not have a black fender? So there you go. That's what it looks like to take a stock KLX300 and convert it into a usable adventure motorcycle. Roughly 300 pounds and 60 to 65 miles per gallon. Looking forward to some warmer weather to put some miles on it.